You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Friday, happy Venus Day, and happy birthday to the most Sagittarius I can think of. Actually, quite a few today, but Britney Spears. I mean, it just makes sense. It just makes sense. Aaron Rodgers is also a Sagittarius. Charlie Puth, Lucy Liu, Nelly Furtado. Wow. Lots today. Lots of very notable Sagittariuses. And because we'll be talking about the entire weekend in this episode, let's just, for fun, see who has a birthday tomorrow. Brendan Fraser, Ozzy Osbourne is a Sag. Amanda Seyfried. I love her. She is goals. She's on my vision board. We're trying to, look at her hair in this picture. Can you see who my hair inspiration is? Julianne Moore, Jenna Dewan, Daryl Hannah, Dasha Polanco, Anna Chlumsky. Hopefully I'm saying that name right. Trina. Wow. Okay. And just for fun, on Sunday, December 4th, Jay-Z. Again, the Sagittarius vibe, right? Jeff Bridges, Marissa Tomei, Tyra Banks, heavy hitters, Orlando Brown. Any other That's So Raven fans out there? You remember Orlando Brown. Fred Armisen. Lots and lots and lots of fun Sagittarius birthdays. And of course, if you know anyone celebrating this weekend, give them a shout out in the comments so we can celebrate them too. Corby is here. Rachel is here. Rose is here. All of our regulars. Katie as well. And Diane. The gang's all here. So in this episode, we're going to talk through Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But really, Friday and Sunday are going to be quick breakdowns of what's going on with the moon. And then Saturday is jam-packed. Saturday is where all the action is at in this forecast. So if you're finding this video later, I will go ahead and add markers to the timeline so you can jump to whichever day you are looking for guidance on or whichever transit you're hoping to learn more about. But if you're joining me live, we have a few other people popping in the chat. Bree is here. Welcome. Get comfy. We're going to chat a lot about Neptune today. And Tanner's birthday is tomorrow. Happy birthday to you, Tanner, a Sagittarius. I love that. I love all your insights and philosophical comments that come through in the chat. Very Sagittarius of you. So wishing you a happy birthday, sending you lots of good energy and love to celebrate your solar return. Okay, yes. Everybody wish Tanner a happy birthday. This is why I love this community. You're all just such great humans. Okay, let's get a check on the current energy. We have a lot of fire in the forecast today. The sun is in Sagittarius, of course. The moon is in Aries. So the moon moved into Aries yesterday afternoon, but didn't really make any connections. Today, it's going to make two different connections. And we're really feeling that fiery energy. But somebody says Orlando Brown on Instagram. That was a deep cut. Orlando Brown. Anyway, the moon in Aries is really giving us this surge of momentum. It feels like momentum is building. And it's interesting because although we're talking a lot about fiery energy in the forecast, Neptune in Pisces stationing direct is bringing almost this sleepy, sensitive quality to the overall energy. So just want to point that out before we really get into what's going on with Neptune. But let's start with Friday. Let's start with the waxing gibbous moon in Aries. As I mentioned, it feels like the energy is building. The waxing gibbous moon is the phase directly following the first quarter moon where we're taking action and we're, like I said, gaining momentum, gathering more data before the culmination point, which is the full moon. And with the waxing gibbous moon in Aries, it does feel like just in general, the energy is building. Yeah, Rachel says, I feel more energized today. Yesterday, that Neptune fogginess was rough. And yesterday, the moon was in Pisces. So that just amplified that foggy Neptune energy. You might still be feeling a little bit Neptune-y today just because of what's going on overall. But yeah, on a basic level, if we're looking at the forecast day by day, today is going to feel more energizing. Yeah, Diane feels it too. I woke up this morning feeling so pushed to do all the things. I've been so busy today. Yeah, just that like go, go, go energy with the waxing gibbous moon in Aries. Katie says, I feel scattered and confused today, taking moments of meditation to get clarity. That is beautiful. And the Neptune energy could cause confusion, but also feeling scattered. Like there's probably a lot of energy that doesn't necessarily know where to go is kind of the feeling I get from reading your comment. And that honestly is a perfect example of, yeah, we have the energy to do all the things, but Neptune is also stationing direct and we're really feeling that like fog as well at the same time. So of course the transits affect us all individually and us all differently. And yeah, Rachel says same here. That's been me all week, but feeling that Neptune lift. I'm excited to talk about Neptune. Okay, let's finish up what's going on Friday, though. Before I get too ahead of myself, I'm feeling that scattered energy as well, apparently. So the moon is in Aries. We talked about that vibe. And the first connection we feel the moon and Aries make will be at 3 p.m. Pacific time or 6 p.m. Eastern time. So the moon has stayed fairly quiet. The moon has stayed fairly quiet. Even though it's an Aries moon, it's making us a little bit more bold. But when the moon harmonizes with the sun at 3 p.m. Pacific time, that boldness, that confidence can come through more easily. It's like that internal fire we feel with the Aries moon can be expressed easily as it harmonizes with the Sagittarius sun, giving us that confidence, giving us that stamina, that vitality, that energy. It's like whatever's on our heart, it's easier to share it under this trine between the moon and the sun. And like I said, confidence just feels really natural as the day goes on. So, you know, you might just be more bold later in the day today or feel more, I keep saying confident, but it's like there's this optimism to it too, because the sun is in Sagittarius, right? So it's like just that optimism, like I can share what I'm feeling today and it'll be received and it's going to be okay, you know? So, we're feeling that. That's a great way to head into Friday. And then at 7 p.m. Pacific time, we do have to talk about this. 10 p.m. Eastern time, the moon forms a conjunction to Chiron. So the moon and Chiron will meet up on Friday night. And we know it's coming, so it doesn't have to get the best of us. But you can see the moon is over here in Aries. It's going to form that trine to the sun in a bit, and then it'll meet up with Chiron. When the moon forms a conjunction to Chiron, especially in Aries, which that's the only time it forms a conjunction to Chiron currently, it can make us triggered. And I would say just kind of watch the tendency to be reactive. The Aries moon tends to make us more reactive. Like we just are very quick to do, to go, to react, to be impulsive. And so even like little triggers under this conjunction between the moon and Chiron could make us feel like we need to have a bigger reaction. We don't need to. I don't think we need to. I mean, big reactions are warranted sometimes, but I would say it's probably not going to help us out, especially with everything going on with Neptune. Everybody's a little more sensitive, a little more confused. So watch your temper. And if you're noticing irritation or anger coming up, Anger is a natural emotion, but how can we use this intel? You know, the waxing gibbous moon is that time where we're gathering more information emotionally. So if you're feeling triggered or reactive, what data is that presenting to you about your own healing? Chiron is the wounded healer, which is why it can make us trigger, because it pokes at our wounds, right? But if you are feeling triggered, if you are feeling a little wounded, being the observer of that emotion and saying like, oh, is this signaling something that's unhealed in me still? What can I do about this? How can I give myself what I need? You know, so just a little warning, we could be a bit triggered, and watch your temper. Aries energy is a little fiery, right? It can be a little temperamental. So luckily we have this trine to the sun that will still be feeling, giving us confidence, making us just generally feel good, but something to be aware of. Katie says, I couldn't figure out what to do with my kids' free time. Decided to get some work done for the nonprofit I work for and join the live stream. Yay, we're happy you're here. Okay, so that's Friday. That's it. Pretty easy peasy. Saturday is a bit of a beast. So let's just get into it, starting with our friend Neptune. Neptune stationing direct. So Neptune has been retrograde since June 28th, since the Cancer new moon. And Cancer season, Leo season was a time when a ton of planets were going retrograde. Once Neptune stations direct, we will still have Chiron retrograde, and I believe Chiron will station direct in December sometime. Uranus will still be retrograde, and Mars will still be retrograde. But we are coming out of this heavy retrograde season. So that is the good news. Another planet stationing direct. By January 12th, I believe, all planets will be moving in direct motion, in forward motion. So, you know, I just did an astrology reading with one of my closest friends, and she's like, well, what do I need to know? And I was like, just take December to, you know, gather that data, make adjustments, because there's really no point in like going hard or starting anything new until the new year, at least astrologically speaking. But back to Neptune. Back to Neptune. Okay, Neptune stations direct. What does this mean for us? So Neptune is the planet of dreams, imagination, fantasy. It's very much linked to our intuition and our ability to trust in the things that we can't see. So Neptune feels like music, right? It's like we can't see music, but we can feel the vibrations of music. We know that music can be transcendent. If there was a planet of transcendence, it would be Neptune. And as Neptune has been retrograde since June 28th, Neptune's retrograde is a really interesting vibe compared to other retrograde planets, because Neptune causes confusion. It causes that fogginess. It's like being in a cloud, and that's where that element of trust comes in. You got to trust that like the cloud's going to carry you, and that even though you don't know what's outside of the cloud, that hopefully it's good, right? Or that you're taken care of. Neptune energy is very mystical. So with Neptune being retrograde, the best way I've heard this transit described was by, always have to give attribution as a journalist, was by the Astro Twins, two of my favorite astrologers. They talked about Neptune retrograde being like pulling back the curtain. It's like that scene in The Wizard of Oz where the wizard is, you know, in his little booth, and Neptune direct is like his big face being projected, and you're all like believing that he's this big, scary, all-powerful being, right? The great and powerful Oz. But Neptune retrograde is like going up to the booth and pulling back the curtain and being like, oh, this was all an illusion the whole time. So for the past, what is it, June, July, August, September, October, November, 6 months or so, 5 months, that's how you know. I got to count on my fingers sometimes. For the past 5 months, we've really been pulling back the curtain on the illusions and beliefs that we subscribe to, the ideals that we subscribe to. Neptune is very much associated with our beliefs, right? So we've kind of been re-examining these elements of our life. And also, Neptune is a very creative energy. So maybe you have been reviewing some creative projects, or getting a little clearer actually on blurry boundaries. Neptune, when it's direct, likes to blur those boundaries. You know, it likes things to be blurry and uncertain. But with Neptune retrograde, it's like, again, getting clearer on what boundaries have been blurred. We can kind of examine those things more easily. So it's interesting that Neptune's retrograde also almost brings more clarity than Neptune being direct. Now, with Neptune being retrograde, some of the not as great effects of it might have been feeling a little stalled or stagnant in creative projects, in spiritual practices as well. Neptune is the planet of one love, universal consciousness. So maybe your spiritual rituals or practices, you've just kind of felt stagnant or stuck in those areas, or like you're kind of reviewing them, but not really actively doing them or being involved in them. So Neptune stationing direct this Saturday brings an opportunity to kind of get lost in spirituality, imagination, fantasy, creativity again. It's like being able to buy back into the fantasy that Oz is great and powerful, you know? Although once you pull back the curtain and you see what you've seen, it's hard to go back into believing in illusion, right? But maybe Neptune's retrograde showed you what you really can believe and what is truly an illusion. So allowing yourself as Neptune stations direct to kind of be creative and be a little blurry again, you know, be a little bit imaginative and free-flowing. New creative endeavors could develop as Neptune gets going back and forward motion. New spiritual beliefs or experiences might present themselves too, especially in Sagittarius season, this very philosophical, almost religious season that we're in, where we're all tuned into our sense of belief and magic. Neptune resuming forward motion comes just in time for the holiday season. It's like adding pixie dust on the already magical time of the year. So I really love, there are no coincidences, but I really love that Neptune is stationing direct at the beginning of December. So it's a lot easier for all of us to just lean into that fantasy and imagination and belief and Santa Claus and fairies and elves and all the things that we love to play into this time of year. Yeah, so I'm curious if anyone feels like sharing how Neptune retrograde has felt for them. I would love to just take the temperature of the chat here, because Neptune's retrograde is, it's weird, you know, it's like a weird energy. Most retrogrades, it's like, oh, we get it, what we're reviewing. But here it's a little more convoluted, which is just Neptune in general, right? Rachel says, tonight I'm going to see if my partner will let me read his cards. Maybe this transit can help him in his healing journey through the cards. We're going to be talking more about Chiron too. So healing is definitely possible this weekend. Absolutely. Katie says, Mike and I are making changes in our personal and family life. My Capricorn energy is quick to skepticism for these changes to manifest, but I need to trust, hope, and have faith. And Neptune stationing direct allows us to trust and have faith a little more easily again. Diane says, that's such interesting timing for me because with the house uprooted in chaos, my practice room was out of use. We stored a lot of items there while the bedroom ceiling was being redone. Room repainted. So my spiritual path has been affected since summer, probably right around that time, right? It was, I think, August or July when things kind of got chaotic for you. And as we wrap up the room here towards the end of the year, I will get my altar room back. Perfect timing for Neptune being direct, right? And Neptune won't station retrograde again for like another 6 months. Neptune goes retrograde every year. So this is one of those transits that's not like, I mean, most retrogrades happen on a yearly or bi-yearly basis. So it's not anything we're not used to, but it is helpful to kind of assess, you know, especially because during a station, when a planet like Neptune switches directions, because Neptune moves so slowly, Neptune's kind of been at this pause in the sky for a while. You might have noticed that Neptune's been at 22 degrees for what feels like forever. You know, it just hasn't been moving. So especially a planet like Neptune that makes us more sensitive, that makes us more confused, we're really feeling the effects of the station. And you might be feeling that today. You might be feeling that throughout the weekend. You might have started feeling that already this week because, like I said, Neptune moves so slowly. So for a retrograde like this that happens every year, we really pay attention to the stations. We really pay attention to that moment or that short time period where the planet is switching directions. So just know that you'll probably feel Neptune's influence more strongly as you're finding this video or joining me live. And once Neptune gets going, it's like, okay, you know, you might be feeling it for a little bit, but we don't even need to really talk about a shadow period because Neptune's just been so freaking slow. Yeah, August. I remember you telling me that, Diane. That's a long time that you've been dealing with that. Katie says, Neptune retrograde has been cutting the bullshit. Amen to that. Full transparency for me. What needs to change? I'm so grateful. That really resonates with me. So thank you for sharing that, Katie. Yeah. Full transparency for what needs to change. It's like the fog lifted during Neptune retrograde. It was like being more practical, being more realistic about, like, again, what beliefs, illusions, blurriness, fogginess that we've just been ignoring or buying into. Yeah. Wow. Of course, yeah, that affects your creativity too, Diane. So I have a feeling a lot of that creative energy that you have so much of will really get going again once Neptune is also getting going again. Rachel says, I feel like I've really been growing in my spiritual journey, but yet feeling stagnant creatively. Like I've been gathering insights spiritually that can help me be creative. You've been reviewing your spirituality. You've been reviewing your beliefs, and so beautifully, as I've witnessed over the past few months. And now I feel like you can take all of that intel you got during Neptune's retrograde and use it for creativity, for that trust, that ability to channel and translate your spirituality into the physical form, which is creativity. Like, I think that is a definition of creativity, right? Yeah, and now I'm ready to be creative. I'm going to be mindful and make sure I give myself that time for creativity, and hopefully Neptune can help. Yeah, and get a little messy. Neptune likes us to get messy. So it's that permission to just like do it and be creative and see what happens. Oh my gosh. If anybody knows about Neptune, it's Court. Pisces rising over here, right? She's been answering in her mind, forgot to type. Yeah, that's Neptune retrograde. And I think just being a Pisces rising in general, right? Like, no, I'm communicating to you. It's just telepathically. I love that. I love that. Okay, so in order to fully understand Neptune's station, we also have to look at what's going on at the same time. Okay, so let me pull up the chart. We're going to fast forward to tomorrow. Neptune officially stations direct at 4 in the afternoon tomorrow. Then tomorrow night, a couple other things happen. So let me just jump ahead here and you'll see with your own eyeballs. Neptune on the chart. Where are you, Neptune? Over here, officially direct. But what is Neptune connecting to? Venus, also at 22 degrees. So just a few hours after Neptune stations direct, it forms this square to Venus, which means during the station, we're really feeling that square to Venus. And Venus almost becomes a focal point of what's going on with Neptune. What's really cool about this, if you ask me, is that Neptune is considered the higher octave of Venus. Before Neptune was discovered, it's like they only knew about Venus, obviously. And then once Neptune was discovered, it's like they took Venus qualities, they being, I guess, the original astrologers. I don't know who I'm referencing with they, but philosophers, astronomers, astrologers took a lot of Venus qualities and applied them to Neptune, but in a way that was more expansive, like one love. Rather than Venus being the planet of love, Neptune is the planet of one love. You know, both of these energies are very creative. Venus is our planet of interpersonal relationships. Neptune is our planet of relationship to the divine, right? So what's cool is that these energies are really similar in a lot of ways. But on its own, Venus squaring Neptune causes confusion in relationships, confusion about money, confusion even creatively. So also, I just feel like our sensitivities will be especially heightened when it comes to our relationships and when it comes to money when Venus is squaring Neptune. So that's just, again, something to keep in mind. Even though Neptune is stationing direct, I wouldn't say all of a sudden you're going to be able to figure everything out all at once or really have this like transcendent experience immediately because Neptune is stationing direct. Now, anything is possible. Anything is possible. But when Venus clashes with Neptune on Saturday night, it just feels like a lot of confusion about our relationship status. And also, I think there's a potential, since Neptune will be freshly stationed direct, like we're really feeling that Neptune energy. I see this also being, rather than being confused and skeptical about relationships, like over romanticizing relationships, over romanticizing the potential with Venus and Sagittarius of our relationships, not just romantic relationships, but platonic relationships too. Like I could see you making a new friend and being like, we're going to be friends for life, you know, like, or, Neptune's been pretty active this week. You know, Mercury squared Neptune a couple of days ago, and that was a transit where I was like, words might be a little tricky. I wouldn't do any negotiating or make any decisions. Venus squaring Neptune is kind of the same energy, but specifically about love, money, and beauty. So wouldn't recommend making any financial decisions over the weekend. I wouldn't recommend making any like major appearance decisions, whether it's with your home or your physical appearance, or making any major declarations of love. We're really going to be feeling the lovey-dovey energy with Venus squaring Neptune, but maybe almost too much, if that makes sense, maybe a little overboard. So, you know, we've gotten clearer on the illusions that we're buying into, but Venus squaring Neptune adds this lingering sense of confusion about where we're going in those relationships now. It's almost this like impatient energy with this harsh square between the two planets of like, okay, well, Neptune's retrograde now, and I believe that this is going to work out. So where are we going and what are we doing? You know, like, again, being a little overly optimistic or overly faithful about where things are headed, and that's where the confusion can kind of set in. So just knowing that we don't have to have it all figured out just because Neptune stations direct. It's not going to all come together immediately, right? Tanner says, it's a Pisces rising, and Neptune retrograde has been a revisioning of dreams, grounding new parts of identity, and letting go of outdated roles, reworking music compositions, and working on the intricacies and details of creative downloads that were received when Neptune was direct. Amen to that. That was beautiful. Love that, Tanner. Love that for you. Love that for all of us. Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. So just like Rachel was saying, now that you've done all this review in all these ways, from the creative downloads that happened when Neptune was direct, you can start to put those creative projects back into motion again. And probably for you as a Pisces rising, at least, really step into your own again as Neptune stations direct, probably in your first house too. So for those of you who are Pisces risings, it might have felt like a confusion about who am I and where am I going and what am I doing and what's my purpose. Neptune being direct hopefully will bring more of a sense of trust in yourself and in your purpose here. Pisces rising court, I am always lost. But also in the most beautiful way. You're just very like trusting in the universe. And I love that about you, court. Yeah, Tanner says lots of challenging and growing faith, understanding subtleties, objective bioscope, expanding energetic perceptions with Neptune on the ascendant. Ooh, yeah. Situations as opportunities for unconditional love. Yes. Situations as opportunities for unconditional love. That is the perfect sentence or phrase to describe Venus squaring Neptune. Situations as opportunities for unconditional love. So Venus squaring Neptune, it's not an invitation to be like, I love you unconditionally and let's just do it. Let's do the thing, you know. but it could be that any confusions or miscommunications or blurriness in relationships invite you to go deeper into the universal love that Neptune brings. Like, I love myself universally. I love this other human in front of me universally and unconditionally. That doesn't mean I have to put a label on it or figure out where it's going. Sometimes universal love just looks like accepting the now, accepting the present moment, right? Beautifully said, Tanner. Ooh, Rachel says, I plan on painting on Saturday, and ironically, I'm letting it be messy. Got an idea yesterday. I'm going to roll with it. Going to turn off my perfectionism. I love that. This is a great transit to be creative. That's a great way to use this energy because, like I said, both of these planets are very creative energies. So letting it be messy, moving any uncertainty or doubt through creativity onto a canvas or whatever your creative outlet looks like, music. Because anytime we have a square, it makes us feel like we want to do something. It's like activating, or like blindsided, like just uncomfortable, right? So our tendency a lot of the times is to do something to avoid that discomfort. Creativity, I can't think of a better thing to do on a day like Saturday. Katie says, feeling this. I like to know the path forward, but Mike has to process things before we can really work on a planned path forward together. Trusting and hopeful. Hope has really been coming up a lot for me as we've been talking about Neptune so much this week. Neptune in Pisces, Jupiter in Pisces as well. And all of the planets, the stellium we have in Sagittarius is really bringing a hopeful energy. So hope is a beautiful thing to lean into. Look, Diane's painting as we speak. She's ahead of the game. She's already leaning into that creativity. Okay, if you thought that was it, there's one more major transit to talk about on Saturday, happening literally at the same exact time as Venus squaring Neptune. In fact, I almost don't believe that. I know it's true. But, well, I'm going to double check it because I'm like, is that really true? I wrote it down, but is that really true? Venus squaring Neptune and the sun forming a harmony to Chiron. Yep, same exact time, 11:12 p.m. Pacific time. So these are overnight transits for our East Coasters, early morning transits on Sunday for people who live in Europe and beyond. But we're still going to be feeling them late Saturday night and probably both of these things into Sunday as well. Especially because when I show you what's happening on Sunday, it's literally nothing. So we're probably going to be feeling all these things we've been talking about on Sunday. Okay, the sun forming a trine to Chiron. Let's talk about it. This is a positive aspect for healing. The trine is a balanced 120 degree angle, and it allows for ease and flow. So the sun, being our life force energy, our consciousness, is harmonizing with the wounded healer, really shining a light and allowing us to understand our healing journey more easily. And with the sun in Sagittarius, I couldn't help but think about gratitude and how gratitude during all of Sagittarius season, but especially during a transit like this, can be really helpful, a really powerful tool to help us observe how much we've already healed this year, how much we've already grown along our healing journey, giving ourselves credit for the work we've already done. So yes, Chiron is still retrograde. There's still this aspect of review, what still needs to be healed. And the sun in Sagittarius could shine light on that, but it feels more optimistic. It feels more hopeful. Look at how much we've already healed. We have the potential to heal even more than we can probably perceive right now. There is this optimism about what's possible in our healing. Now, what's really interesting, and Diane, if you're listening, I feel like you will really resonate with this, because if I remember correctly, Diane's whole home construction fiasco started on the Lion's Gate or right around the Lion's Gate. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know you said August. The last time the sun formed a trine to Chiron was on 8/8/2022, the Lion's Gate portal. So because that was such a powerful day, maybe you did a ritual or set some intentions or some sort of practice on that day. If you have a record of it, maybe reviewing it could be very helpful in understanding what's been healed and what still needs to be healed. But I thought that was really wild that the last time we had this happen was on the Lionsgate, and now it's Neptune stationing direct. It's these very transcendent transits that the Sun and Chiron are coinciding with. So yeah, I think gratitude is a great way to work with this. And yeah, exactly, Diane. So for you especially, this has been a long journey for you to physically heal your house, to fix your house. But I know there's been a lot that's come up emotionally along the way for you, just from what you've shared about your own healing journey. So yeah, I think this is going to be a beautiful day on Saturday, and there's a lot of healing potential. Might still be confusing, but there's definitely some healing to be gained from tapping into that universal love and tapping into hope, tapping into trust. All right, let's talk about the moon on Saturday. Rachel says, I really love this. I had an insight come through this morning, and it was something like, I know the truth and I understand what it means, but I just need to believe it. So like there's a block to believing. Well, Neptune stationing direct could help you believe a little bit easier, and doing so could be very healing as the Sun and Chiron harmonize at the same time. Yeah, I feel like that's part of my healing journey. She says tapping into actually believing. Yeah, something that's been coming up for me a lot in the past couple of days is worthiness as well. And with Venus squaring Neptune, Venus is very much associated with our worthiness, our values, and our self-worth. And Venus squaring Neptune is kind of forcing us to observe our own worthiness in a way, like worthiness and belief are kind of go hand in hand, right? Believing in ourselves, believing in our value. So that's something to think about as well on Saturday. Corby says, I'm really looking forward to this. Can't wait to journal it out and get it out creatively. I love it. I love it. Okay, so back to the Aries moon. The Aries moon keeps things very spicy on Saturday. We have quite a few connections to talk about. So 4 a.m., 7 a.m. Eastern time, the moon forms a sextile to Mars. On Saturday morning, you might find yourself being a little restless, an extra burst of energy. Maybe you can't sleep. Maybe you just want to get up and go immediately. The moon connecting with Mars like this gives us this urge to move, especially with the moon in Aries. Anytime the moon's in Aries, I always tell you, when in doubt, sweat it out, move your body. That's the Aries moon helping you process your emotions through physical exercise or physical movement. But the moon forming a sextile to Mars makes us really want to move first thing in the morning on Saturday. So lean into that and know if you're feeling restless, moving your body is really, really, really great outlet for any excess energy. Then 10 a.m. Pacific time, so that would be 1 p.m. Eastern time, the moon forms at that same angle, a sextile to Saturn. And this helps us kind of pump the brakes. So we have this surge of energy with the moon connecting with Mars, and then the moon forming a sextile to Saturn helps us slow down a little bit, come back to our responsibility, our leadership, our maturity, remembering our duties for the day, kind of getting a little more grounded among the fiery and impulsive, restless Aries moon energy. So we'll take that. Saturn's been helping us out a lot lately, it feels like. Then 1 p.m. Pacific time, so that would be 4 p.m. Eastern time, the moon starts to come into these harmonious aspects throughout the afternoon. So the moon forms a trine to Venus on Saturday afternoon, and this just allows love to flow through easily. It could be bold declarations of love. Passions are definitely high, really playing into that square we're feeling between Venus and Neptune as well, right? So the moon forming a trine to Venus allows us to feel that love more easily. And that's where that tendency to be impulsive and like overly believe in love can come through on Saturday afternoon. But what's cool about this, with the moon in Aries, we're a little bit more selfish when the moon is in Aries. With Venus in Sagittarius, we're very generous with our love. So this feels like a nice balance with the moon and Venus harmonizing with each other between giving and receiving. kind of the perfect energy for like getting what we want, but also giving in the process. I love this trine between the moon and Venus. I think it's going to feel really good. I think it's going to feel really good. Then at 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern time, the moon makes that same aspect to Mercury. So you'll probably feel like that love flowing through really easily on Saturday afternoon, and by Saturday evening, it'll be easier to process it mentally and even maybe share it through our words or journal it out. So any sort of mental processing of what we've been feeling becomes a lot easier when the moon forms a trine to Mercury. We can find confidence more easily in expressing ourselves. The moon in Aries gives us that like just natural confidence to put ourselves out there. So writing, speaking, really powerful ways to process our emotions by the end of the day. Beginning of the day, move it out, move out the physical energy. End of the day feels more like talking, communicating, relating to other people to process our emotions. And the final connections the Aries moon makes are at 9 p.m. Pacific time on Saturday night, so midnight on Saturday night, and East Coast. I'm like, brain fart. This is where things get a little tricky, a little spicy. So I'm going to show you on the chart what's happening here. The moon squares Pluto and Lilith at the same time. Yikes. And also, if you'll notice, Lilith and Pluto are coming into an opposition. That is going to be exact, let me tell you, on December 13th. So we're really starting to feel this opposition between Pluto and Lilith in the background. We haven't really talked about it, but it's been there. It's been there. And there's this underlying control kind of feistiness that we've been feeling. It's going to get more intense as the week goes on, just fair warning. And we're really going to get a preview of that. As I'm saying that, my dog is like losing his mind out there. We're really going to get a preview of that on Saturday night. You can see the moon here squaring both Pluto and Lilith. Pluto makes us a little bit more controlling and manipulative, especially when there's a square to Pluto, especially when it's an Aries moon squaring Pluto. We really want to be in charge. We really want to be in control. There can be power struggles that play out when the moon squares Pluto, and then the moon squaring Lilith at the same time makes it all too easy for our bitchy side, our control freak, our need to be sovereign to come through. So this is all playing out very close to that square between Venus and Neptune. Relationship confusion is possible, but it's interesting because the Sun and Chiron are harmonizing as this is playing out too, which tells me that if there are bitchy, hostile, mean power struggles that arise on Saturday night, hey, we've all been there, right? There is a healing potential. So, sometimes we have to go through difficulties to learn the lessons, to learn how we need to heal, right? So, yeah, I would just say watch your words, watch that Lilith tendency on Saturday night. And know that other people might be feeling like they need to be in control. They might be a little more unconsciously manipulative too. So give people grace, give yourself grace, slow down a little bit, be really intentional with how you are showing up, how you're relating to other people on Saturday night. Okay, lots of questions being asked. Yes, Diane, I think it is a good sign. I think it does mean you're nearing the end with all of that drama that you've been dealing with. Yes, the holiday market we're doing for Goddess Night Out is going to be mostly inside. I'm pretty sure it's going to be raining, so even the outdoor booths we did have, I think we're going to move them inside. Yeah, love the support pushing us to find self-love and release all the lies that bring down our self-worth. Yes, yes, yes. Self-love over everything, right? Absolutely. Sun, trine, Chiron. Beautiful reflection. Katie says, I need that help to be bold in love. I have Venus in Capricorn. Doesn't work equal love? Yeah, right. Not necessarily, especially for my Venus and Sag husband, because he's probably a little bit more bold in love if he has Venus in Sagittarius. Grateful for the awareness to give and receive love. It's really beautiful though, because his Venus is a little bit more spontaneous and adventurous, and your Venus is more like, no, we got to keep things grounded and responsible. And that's nice to have both of those energies, right? Nick says, agree with your Saturday night predictions. Sometimes going with the flow is letting others have their way. That is some wisdom. Thank you for sharing, Nick. Yes, with the moon squaring Pluto and Lilith, it might be easier to be like, you know what? You're right. You do you. I'm just going to be over here, right? Yes. Thanks for sharing that, Nick. Great piece of advice for what's happening on Saturday night. The beautiful thing is, though, the moon goes void right after that tense T-square between Pluto and Lilith. So the void moon can kind of put a damper on any aggression, power struggles, manipulation that arises, hostility potentially. When the moon goes void, it's like, okay, maybe taking the space, maybe taking the break, like nothing super out of proportions will likely happen because the moon immediately goes void. So yes, thank you, Nick. Awesome insight. Absolutely. And that insight is like the void moon, you know, it's just like, sometimes just let it be, just let it be. The energy is going to die down. Nothing happening super late Saturday night should amount to anything significant. So that's good. That's our Saturday. And when I say Sunday is going to be a quick chat, I mean it, because literally this is all we are experiencing on Sunday. The moon moves into Taurus on Sunday at 3:38 a.m. So first thing, Sunday morning, the moon moves into Taurus, and it's a waxing gibbous moon. When the moon's in Taurus, it's like, get comfortable in your environment, get comfortable in your skin. Eat that hearty food, throw on the sweatpants, snuggle up on the couch, watch a holiday movie. We're like really craving our creature comforts with the moon in Taurus. This is a Sunday vibe, nice, cozy Sunday vibe. It's also kind of like that self-care, like you were just talking about. Self-care is huge under the Taurus moon. So taking care of yourself, even potentially indulging. With the sun in Sagittarius, we're a little more indulgent, and the moon in Taurus amplifies that energy. So we can expect to feel more grounded and kind of determined as we start the week. And also, we know when the moon is in Taurus that taking it slow is totally fine. Like, we're still determined, we're still steady, we're still grounded, we can still move forward in a pace that's sustainable. So especially with this waxing gibbous moon, you know, the Aries moon is like, we've got the momentum, we're going, we're doing it. And then the moon moving into Taurus is like, no, we're still moving forward. We're still working our way towards the full moon in Gemini next week, but we're going to do it at a pace that's sustainable and reasonable and grounded, and where we're comfortable and not like overextending ourselves or stressing ourselves out to get there, right? So that's it. That's our Sunday, the moon in Taurus. Full permission to relax, do something that feels good for you, get comfortable. Yeah, eat some good food. Definitely. Love that you contribute, Nick. We love it. Yeah. Katie says, I am partial to a Taurus moon. I have Mars in Taurus in the 4th house, and the moon is exalted in Taurus. The moon likes to be in Taurus. So I am partial to a Taurus moon too, even though it opposes my moon. Not the best, but I tend to really like a Taurus moon too. And for you, with the moon moving through your 4th house, Katie, it's going to be like, you're probably just going to want to be at home on Sunday and even Monday, just like chilling out. That's the vibe of the Taurus moon. Just chill. Like, even when I was looking at the forecast, wrote, this might be the most chill Sunday ever. You know, just chill out. I will personally be hosting an event, that event that Bree was asking about on Sunday. But it's funny because as I've been envisioning this, it's going to be a small market with women makers, and we're going to have a family dance party, which is going to be really fun. But as I've been envisioning it for the past couple months, I've really been feeling more like it's almost like a little family gathering where we're all going to just be like chatting and cozy and in this nice, comfortable space. At least I'm very comfortable in the space, and my goal is to make everybody else feel comfortable too. Bringing the kids, doing some arts and crafts, doing a little dancing, moving our bodies, but it just feels like the vibe is going to be really cozy and chill. That's what I've been feeling. And then I realized the moon's going to be in Taurus. And part of me was like, oh no, are people going to want to come? Or are they just going to want to stay home? And I'm like, no, I'm just going to make it feel really cozy so people get their Taurus moon vibes even while they're out and about. Yes, I know. It would be so fun if we could all be together. Katie messaged me and said the same thing. Like, I wish I could bring my kids to this. I know. But I have big dreams for you all know that I host Goddess Night Out, which is a monthly women's dance night and lots of women's events throughout the month and throughout the year. But I've been feeling the pull more lately to do the same thing for kids. I don't have my own kids, but I know how powerful it is. I grew up dancing at a dance studio, and I feel like creating safe spaces for kids to move their body and express themselves and dance is kind of the next evolution of something that I'm creating. And maybe, just like I have these big dreams for Goddess Night Out, maybe one day it will be around the world. So endlessly creating new things over here. And one day we will all be together. One day we're going to be able to do like spiritual journalist transits retreat or something, you know, and all of you, my OGs, will have to come, of course. Yes, Katie says, doesn't mean I have to stay home, but maybe feeling at home wherever I am. And like I said, the Taurus moon invites us to get comfortable in our body. So if you have things to do on Sunday, if you have to go out and about, like, wear something comfy, wear sweatpants, wear a sweatshirt. Like, nobody's judging you. It's a Taurus moon. It's a Sunday, you know, be comfortable in your skin. Aw, Rachel says, I would totally love something like that near me, but so thankful I have my spiritual shop to escape to. Beautiful. I'm so glad you found that. I'm so glad that you found a community of like-minded people near you. That is incredibly important. Thanks, Katie. Love that you created the event for the family. I support that dream for you. Thank you, Katie. Yeah, especially those of you. I will help you plan it. I love it. I feel that like a lot of, since we've started Goddess Night Out, a lot of women with children have said like, it would be cool to do a mommy and me or something where the kids can be involved. So this is our first little dip of our toe into doing that. And I think next year we'll be doing more stuff like that. All right, that's the forecast and a little extra. Coming back to our affirmation, my sensitivity is my superpower. And I really wanted to hone in on sensitivity today because, as I mentioned, with Neptune stationing direct, our sensitivities are heightened because our awareness of Neptune is heightened as it's at a standstill, as it's slowed down from our vantage point here on Earth. So knowing that your emotions could come in waves this weekend. You could be having moments where you're just feeling extra tender, extra sensitive, and knowing that sensitivity is a superpower. It's like being extra sensory, being able to sense other people's emotions, other energy. Now, of course, boundaries, have to mention boundaries when we talk about this, but your ability to feel all the things is a beautiful ability. It's beautiful. Katie, I think that might be happening sooner than later. Canadian Goddess Night Out. I am in talks. I really want to bring it near you. So manifesting all the things. Corby says, what an affirmation. I read it somewhere else this morning. Then you posted it. So it's confirmation for me. I've been feeling it strong. Me too. I have been feeling so sensitive. And I normally am not like I don't cry at the drop of a hat, but I've just been feeling myself like welling up a bunch about all the things, just feeling all the things. So if you're feeling that over the next couple days, know that it's okay. It's totally normal. And that is a superpower. It is beautiful to be tapped into that. There are so many humans walking around this earth who just shut themselves off from feeling all the things because it's too hard. It's too painful. They maybe have trauma around being open to feeling things. So if you are able to feel those things, if you are able to feel your sensitivities, it's a beautiful thing. And it is a superpower. Yes. Feeling that energy. Yes. Okay, let's finish up with our tarot pull. I'm going to pull 3 cards from the Light Seers Tarot, one for Friday, one for Saturday, and one for Sunday. Doing a 3-card pull again. And we'll see what needs to come through. As you know, this is your time. Share any other insights, ask any other questions as I get these cards all shuffled up. Rachel says, same. I haven't been crying, but my back has been hurting for no reason. But the spiritual meaning was on point. Really cool how my body is now tapping into that. And you're just aware of it too, right? Like a former version of yourself might have just been like, oh, my back hurts. How annoying. And you now being more aware, like, what does this mean? What is my back trying to tell me, about this vessel, about what's going on with me spiritually, right? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so that's a great point too. It's not just emotional sensitivity, but physical sensitivity as well with Neptune stationing direct. Like you might be feeling physical sensations on a more heightened level or on a more sensitive level. And again, giving your body grace, giving yourself grace, maybe even looking into like, what does this random back pain mean that I have right now? And with Neptune stationing direct on the same day the sun is harmonizing with Chiron, Neptune energy can be very healing too. So remember that there is great healing potential here, even just in the awareness of, I wonder why my back is hurting. Oh, it's signaling this deeper issue. That's healing in itself. Corby says, I was tearing up looking at a Spice Girls 25-year anniversary video. My inner child must have been happy to see it. That's hilarious and freaking amazing because who doesn't love the Spice Girls? Just takes you back. It takes you back to another time, when things were simpler. We just had, were there 5 Spice Girls or 6? Baby Spice, Ginger Spice, Posh Spice, Sporty Spice, Scary Spice. Is that it? 5? Am I missing one? The original girl band. Maybe not the original, but the girl band of my generation. I'm not sure how popular Krampus is around other areas, but I'm in a very German area of Pennsylvania, and they're reviving Krampus, holding events around Krampusnacht, December 5th, like a Krampusschlaf. I love that Diane is our go-to correspondent for all things other culture festivals, like pagan culture, German culture. I've never heard of this, but I love that. And I have a lot of German in my DNA. So now I'm open to this. I got to look into Krampus. That's pretty cool. Okay. Let's do this card pull, shall we? For those of you running of the Krampuses, oh my gosh, this sounds so fun. Please share. I want to learn more. Tanner says, I feel that, especially considering the higher expression of Lilith. Oh, conjunct your sun, Venus, and midheaven. Ooh. Reclaiming that power. Yes, you are a powerful being with that whole conjunction and probably very tapped into your feminine power too. I think I said that the last time that you told me about that conjunction in your chart. The power of emotions, when concentrating the energy emotions and using it as a form of magnetism, is stepping into our own inner high priestess. Exactly what I was saying, that feminine power, that sovereign priestess energy. I love that. And I love especially hearing that from a man. Like, yes, New Earth, thank you. The more sensitive we are, the more primal feminine power we have. Our sensitivity is our superpower. Yeah, I've heard of the movie Krampus, but I didn't know it was based on an actual holiday. Spice Girls has been my karaoke jam lately. I wasn't allowed to listen to them when I was a kid. Oh, so this is, yes, I love this for you. I love this. Listen to all the Spice Girls. Do it for your inner child. Awesome. Okay. If you're joining me live or if you're finding this video later, let's all just take a nice deep breath together. The deepest breath you've taken all day. Do it for yourself. Here we go. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, send your energy to the cards and ask what you need to know. Nice and deep. From the bottom to the top, breathing in. And release. What do we need to know? The first card is the 10 of Cups. Very interesting. Synchronicity there already. Second card is the 10 of Pentacles. And the third card is the Knight of Pentacles. All upright. Love to see that. I say a synchronicity because I just saw something like a random ad for a business called 10 of Cups. And I was thinking, oh, that's a cool business name. And then we pulled the 10 of Cups card. Here we go. So The Ten of Cups is our card for Friday, for today. Where are you, Cups? Did I pass over? Here we are. Okay. And 2 10 cards as well, which I also didn't mention. Today is 12/2/2022. We have a lot of 2s in the forecast, and now we're seeing repeating 10s, which is interesting. Okay. 10 of Cups. Community, love, soulmates, harmony in relationships and family, divine connections, heart opening and expansion, and wholeness. This card has the powerful energy of connected hearts, giant love, and devoted acceptance. Often seen as the one big happy family card, it's a giant yes for relationships and love, and it predicts your fairy tale ending. And hey, you get to decide what this soulmates and unicorns ending looks like. Allow your heart's expansive energy to pour into all of your connections, including those with your community. In shadow, this card suggests that you need to look at how you feel about yourself within relationships. If you're looking for a white picket fence in order to find happiness, remember that your joy will come only from the inside out. By waiting for other people or better things to create your happiness for you, you undermine your own power to create feelings of love. Bring gratitude and generosity to your life every day. Focus on others and gift them your energy through time, kindness, and service. I live in a state of oneness by bringing harmony and love to my relationships. Hello, Neptune energy. I love this for Friday. Definitely a message I needed to hear today. So I will take it. Our Saturday card is the 10 of Pentacles. Let's see what message the 10 of Pentacles has for us. It feels like another community card. There's lots of kids. What's really interesting is there are kids dancing in this card and there are kids dancing in this card. And we were just talking about kids dancing. Whoa, love it. Okay. 10 of Pentacles. Spiritual and material abundance, community, generosity, wealth, and prosperity, building a legacy. Oh, baby, this is the big one. All the love, abundance, and joy that you can muster in your heart, it's coming your way and it's coming fast. It's time to prepare for its inevitable arrival and commit to your long-term success. This energy is so big, in fact, that you should be prepared to spread some of it around generously. Bring an abundance of positive energy into your life and watch everything shift. Expect the arrival of success, happiness, and an upbeat and loving community as avenues widen and the right connections click into place. Remember that perceptions change. You are one small move away from seeing the bigger picture and from unearthing a legacy of pentacles that is already yours. You deserve this success and love. Taste the pleasures of life and embody a state of consciousness that says, yes, I am worthy of all this success. I am successful and I share my wealth with those I love. Okay, this is great. Love this for us. It's like all the love and then all the success. Maybe the best card pull we've ever had. And then our final card is the Knight of Pentacles. Our Sunday card, our Taurus moon card. It says diligence, hard work, determination, steadfastness, building material security, safety, being pragmatic, expansion. This feels so Taurus already. He's toiling and tilling his lands and enjoying every minute of it. More practical than the other knights, he improves things for himself and for those he loves with his steadfast and consistent momentum. Devoted to solidifying foundations, he assures you that the extra care today will multiply your harvest tomorrow. It's time to show fierce loyalty, pride, and trustworthiness, and to tend to your home while uncovering your unwavering ambitions for the future. Sometimes this energy is so stable that it feels repetitive. So if you are feeling resistance or if you kind of prefer to stay in bed, find the joy in your progress. Find the joy in your progress. The journey is the thing. Uncover heart-stirring enthusiasm by allowing yourself to believe in something brighter. This is the card of infinite expansion. And with time and faith, your seeds will take. Follow through on your plans and promises and move any stagnant energy that's blocking you from your other dreams. Seed by seed, I plant my future with my rock-steady foundations of faith. Feels very powerful for a Taurus moon, reminding us that things take time, but like the other card said, your success is inevitable, and sowing your seeds now will lead to abundance in the future. Having that steadfast determination, continuing to move forward, even if you just feel like staying in bed on Sunday under the Taurus moon. Yes, gratitude and generosity, major Sag energy. Both of these cards feel, even this card too, talking so much about abundance and success. Like this feels like such a Sagittarius card pull. Wow. Love this. Love this. Katie says, my dad's ashes are in plot number 10, taking that message that he's with me, encouraging me to expand with love in my relationships. And not just one 10 card, but 2 10 cards. So yes, absolutely a message of encouragement. That Saturday card, so encouraging for my plans on being creative, taking that leap. These are great cards. Yeah. Trust, hope, faith. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. What a pull. We deserve it. We deserve it. We've been working hard, and these cards are like, yes, have faith. And definitely giving me the reminder today to create my own happiness and spread love, because we all have so much love to give, even when we're feeling sensitive, even if we're feeling a little hurt or down, there's still love we can give, especially to ourselves. Yeah. All right, everybody. That's going to do it for this episode of Transits today. I hope that helped you feel prepared for the weekend ahead and tapped into all of the potent energy that's happening on Saturday leading into Sunday. We got a lot going on, but there's a lot of awareness we all have now too about the current energy and how we can make the most of it. So I'm so grateful for each and every one of you showing up for yourselves today, showing up for each other, showing up for this community. If you're new here, welcome. Please like and subscribe to our channel so we can keep these videos coming to you for free every weekday. And I just love you all. I'm so, so grateful for this community and what we're building together. You all mean so much to me, and I couldn't do this without you. My day feels brighter because you have been in it. So thank you. I will see you all on Monday, but until I see you next, have a beautiful weekend and stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.